Hey, and welcome to... That was terrible.
And
You are fired!
Opening. That is our opening.
Welcome to Desynced, episode 3, for a date that my laptop still got the screwed up date.
It's November 3rd.
November 3rd.
Yes. Well, that's when we're recording.
That's when we're recording it, yeah. This is going downhill fast. My name is Fred.
I'm Skyler.
Steve's here too.
We're all here. Cool.
See, I was polite this time. I let everybody else say it.
That's good. You
Instead
didn't
of just
interrupt me.
Jumping into
Yeah,
it
that's
like last time.
I appreciate
we're
that.
learning. We're figuring it out.
So,
We? What's this we, white boy?
You're figuring it out. Me and Fred already know what we're doing.
yeah.
We? What's this we, white boy? I know what I'm doing.
Well, so what have you been doing?
What have I been doing?
What have you been doing?
I'm saying this because he's currently got something pulled up that I want him to get into.
Okay, so there was a lot of actual Pokemon news within this past week. Sun and Moon are now available to go ahead and pre-download on your 3DSs for American and Japanese DSs only. So if you can go ahead and pre-download it, install it, and that way when the 18th comes, you can go ahead and start playing.
So, fuck you, Switzerland.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's Joe. I do want to point out that's really early for a pre-download. We're weeks away.
2 weeks.
Still, though, I mean that's
2 weeks is about normal nowadays.
I can go on to
Really?
I can go on to an Xbox game and go ahead and pre-download.
I think you can go ahead and pre-download a lot of games.
Yeah, you can pre-download
early.
a lot of games now.
I don't know. For some reason, I always thought that that's something that's like the week of.
For anybody that cares, it's 3.5 gigabytes.
But
Fun
what is
fact.
that in terms of blocks? Because they don't do gigabytes on Nintendo devices.
False. The newest update actually converted everything to gigabytes.
Seriously?
Why would I lie about that?
I love Nintendo.
I don't
now.
know.
But so there was that. They announced some new Pokemon Go information, which
No one cares about anymore.
That's a dead game. The Pokekin, the Pokemon Tekken crap. Yeah,
Pokken?
Yeah, that.
Wait, what'd you call it?
Pokekin?
It's called Pokken. Pokken tournament.
Is that what you do when you get 6 people jerking off onto a Pikachu?
The Pokekin!
Actually, I think that'd be Pikake.
Wow!
That was great. That was a good one.
I'll give you that one. That's one. They also announced a new character for Pokken. But to make it a little bit more relevant, Fred and I were talking last week about, because this is Pokemon's 20th year. It's their 20-year anniversary. They're celebrating it all month. But we were talking, Ash has been the same age for the last 20 years, and you don't really realize how unbelievably strong he is. At one point during the Johto series, he captures a Larvitar
Okay.
that climbs up on his head.
Should we describe for people who don't know what a Larvitar is?
Larvitar is a little pissed off
Rock.
gecko looking thing with a spike on his head.
It's the thing that becomes the Pokemon equivalent of a T-Rex.
Pretty much, sure. But according to the statistics of he's 2 foot tall and weighs 158 pounds. Look at 158.7, so let's say 159.
Or 72 kilograms.
Or 72 kilograms for you. Well, we're the weirdos of the world.
Yeah,
I
we're the
guess.
weirdos,
So
yeah.
for the rest of you normal people, motherfucker's walking around with a 159-pound rock on his head, just slinging it around like it's nothing.
Yeah, but Pokemon stats they make no sense anyways. Have you ever seen a Wailord?
Yes. Here, watch
Pull it
this.
up. It weighs less than air. Based
Does it
on
really?
its size. Yes. Its density is less than air.
Yeah,
It flies.
It's pretty fucked up. Here we go, Wailord. It's 47.
Oh, it is called a float whale, so I guess that's its point.
I mean I think it's based off of a blimp.
It
But-
looks like a blimp.
But still, it's 47 foot long and only weighs 877 pounds. Are you kidding me?
But it's float whale. It's supposed to be like a blimp, right?
Where does it say float whale?
Float
Classification.
classification, float whale.
It's
Oh,
none of
the
those
float
make
whale
sense.
Pokemon.
It's when you get into those stats, none of them make sense.
But still, he's an overpowered 10-year-old who's got the power of... He's a fucking Time Lord. Super strong Time
He's also
Lord.
died how many times throughout the series in various movies and come
Once.
back to life?
Once.
Is it-
I
is it
don't
only
look
once?
at me. Why are you looking at me for Pokemon?
Once. He has only died once. No. Yes, once in the very first Pokemon the movie 2000, he died.
No, he dies in that one with like the ghosts. And
That
the whole
was
episode is
helpful.
he's a ghost.
Lavender Town?
In the first season.
He doesn't die.
He becomes a ghost because it's like the lamp drops on him. I remember that as a kid. I remember that episode.
He
'cause I
doesn't
really liked
die.
it.
He does become
He's
a ghost
a
at one point,
ghost.
though.
He does become a ghost, but he's not dead.
How are you... What? Hold up. No.
You
hold
need
on.
to watch more sci-fi, dude.
I watch a shit ton of sci-fi. That doesn't make sense, though.
They didn't. He's not dead. They just pulled his consciousness out of his body.
If there's no consciousness in the
okay,
body,
so they're-
the body is dead.
But he himself
No,
is
he
not
could
dead.
be... He could just be zoned out, man.
We can download your consciousness into a computer. Would you?
And my body is dead.
But you yourself are not dead.
Now we're getting metaphysical.
But the ghost is the consciousness. It's the ghost of the dead body.
You realize this is a constant argument in the world, right?
Yes, but
Like,
it's
this is
important
a
to Pokemon
significant-
right now.
It's-
Quit being a bitch.
this isn't something new.
You being
The
a
argument
bitch.
continues.
Stop. But I just wanted to point out that he is a super strong Time Lord, and that motherfucker was walking around with a 159-pound rock on his head like it was nothing.
It was pretty awesome.
So this week you've basically just been trying to do Pokemath.
That, completing the Pokedex, crap like that.
Well-
that's the big thing I've been doing.
Well, it's better than what I've been doing. I've been
So-
playing Skyrim again.
Junkie.
It's so good with all the new mods since it just came back out on console. It is. We were kind of talking a little bit about it. There's a bunch of stuff that was added in, just like hidden improvements that
Yeah.
are amazing.
There's some
Even
really
without
cool
mods.
detail work in this update. I'm sorry, I kind of cut you off there.
No, you were fine. I'm done.
Yeah, there's some really cool like detail things they did. I don't. Okay, picture the original Skyrim.
Okay.
Got it? Eyes closed. World is there. All right. Do you remember the rivers specifically and how they didn't actually flow correctly?
When crap fell into them? Kind of.
No, they didn't flow in the right directions.
It's like if the river curved, all the water went in the same direction.
All
It
the
didn't
water
follow
would
the
just
river.
keep going. It just looked like
Okay.
a giant plane of water moving
Yes.
underneath all of Skyrim.
Right.
Yes.
This time, the water moves in accordance to the land around it.
So if there's a rock in the way.
So if the river curves, it curves, and it has areas that get faster, areas that get slower.
That was something that I didn't even notice. He pointed that out, and I went and looked at it. It actually has pressure variance. So, like, if there's a rock in the water, like you said, the water will actually slow down at the rock. But then if one stream is wider than the other, that one will flow faster, and the other stream will actually slow down as it flows back into it. And it'll create, like, a pressure differential.
A perfect example that I found was right outside of Riverwood, the first little town.
The first little town is Riverwood.
Yeah, I can't remember names. When you cross the bridge, if you look off to the left side, there's like a little area. There's like an indent in the side of the creek.
Sure,
So the water keeps flowing normally pretty fast, but then there's just a stagnant pool right there because of how the water flowed in but doesn't keep flowing. It's really cool. Little details like that I love in video games.
It is impressive, too, because given that, for the most part, mods can't do too much insane stuff with the graphics, there's a lot of mods that just make that game 10 times more beautiful by just changing how the graphics are applied. Just like weather mods and stuff like that. It's insane. I know I was telling y'all a story where it was just like I installed a mod that all it does is just makes the game darker. Everything in Skyrim became terrifying at night because it just removed the fake lighting.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you tell your story. I like your story.
Oh,
your story
okay.
was really cool.
Well, I told him, so I basically was just, and I have another mod that is I can freeze to death if I'm out in the cold too long, which is important to this. It gets to dark tonight and everything gets cold and I decide I'm just going to make a run for the town. So I'm heading to the town, but I can't see anything off the path. And I thought there was actually a graphics glitch because like the sky kept like stars kept blinking in and out. And after a few seconds, all of a sudden I just see something go in front of the moon. And I realized that it wasn't a graphical glitch. Everything just erupted in fire because a dragon was following me and I didn't even know it. I mean, it's the fact that you can mod that kind of stuff in, that is an experience I never had on Skyrim back on 360.
Well, you wouldn't have even with the enhanced edition without those mods. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
the nighttime in Skyrim is not very dark.
it's basically just daytime with a moon.
Yeah. I always hated that in Skyrim. It was just, it's not very dark.
I have a more relevant question.
Okay.
Is the achievement list the exact same as it was in the original Skyrim?
Yes, but if you have mods on, achievements are disabled while mods are
Who
enabled.
the fuck should I be playing with mods? I just want my achievements.
Yeah, you can actually 100% the game a second time, which is great for me. I actually also have been playing it. I picked it up, which I know we had a whole discussion last week about it. I'll get into that. But
I'm getting it tomorrow. If anybody cares.
cool.
We'll have to get a multiplayer mod if that ever comes.
It's not going to come to console.
It's not going to come to console.
It barely worked on PC. But fuck, now I lost my train of thought.
You got Skyrim?
I did get Skyrim, didn't I?
Yes.
What?
Train of
I think he's the train of thought.
Oh, it's the train of thought leaving the station. I get it now. I'm smart. I'm just going to derail this into Titanfall 2 because I picked that up as well.
Okay, I do want to get that, but I'll probably get it next week.
Yeah, Titanfall 2 surprised me. I really loved the first game. It was multiplayer only if you didn't know. It was so much fun. The movement mechanics in it were, at the time, really fresh and were kind of a adrenaline shot to first-person shooters. Being able to wall run and the double jump, you could get such a cool flow through the maps. It just was a wonderful experience. Titanfall 2 has brought that back with a campaign. And funny enough, the multiplayer is not very fun this time around. They've kind of killed what made multiplayer fun. But the campaign is one of the best first-person shooter campaigns I've played in the last couple of years.
I've heard a lot of good stuff about it. Funnily enough, you say the multiplayer campaign isn't as fun. Playing the beta, I really lost a lot of interest for Titanfall 2 because it wasn't as good as Titanfall 1 in my opinion. But I've heard a lot of people say that was an actual test beta, and they changed a lot of multiplayer based on people's feedback.
They did change a lot of things, but they didn't change the things that were pulling me away from the multiplayer, so I just couldn't get back into it. I know a lot of people who have gotten back into it and said they hated the beta and they really enjoyed the full game. But the single player, it's kind of short. It's maybe 6 or 7 hours, kind of what you expect for this type of game. It's incredible. Like I was blown away at the quality of this. Everything from the story, I mean the whole buddy relationship, it's kind of the standard, witty the witty marksman kind of guy with the very logical AI that doesn't get jokes. It's like
Peter
Quill and it's like Peter Quill and what's his face and Drax.
Oh.
I mean, it's that exact relationship.
I was going more with Hero and Big Hero 6.
No, because he kind of got jokes. Like he would.
Yeah, Baymax eventually learns.
I thought he just replicated the jokes.
No, Baymax learns.
Okay.
Yeah, this robot BT, your Titan, never actually learns, but he's got cool little character moments. He does a little thumbs up. It's adorable.
ET phone home.
BT.
Oh, BT. Okay.
BT. Yeah, it's his like code thing.
BT Crush Home.
But no, this I thought would actually interest you, Skyler. The level design, I would put on par with something like Half-Life.
Ooh.
It was unbelievable how well they designed. You would have these. Everything was massive. The sense of scale was just enormous. So even when you're in the Titan, you feel small. But then you hop out of the Titan and you feel like an ant. It's really cool. But then the levels accommodate both Titans and ground, on the ground fighting at every given moment.
Okay.
There's only a handful of places where it's highly recommended that you just stay in your Titan. Like there's poisonous smog on the ground or water or something you can't be a part of. But you don't have to. Even in those moments, you don't have to. You can piggyback your Titan. You can use the walls and bounce around. The level of the freedom of movement is just like it was in the first game.
That's good to see. I like a game that lets you choose how you want to play instead of forcing you to say you must play this way.
Yeah, and they actually expand on that even more. I'm going to go ranting on this thing. I love this game so much now. They have loadouts for your Titan, similar to loadouts that were in the previous game, except you can't customize them. And each one has a set role on the battlefield. And the story progresses kind of like a Mega Man campaign. Like you'll encounter a boss character who uses the Scorch. One of the first bosses uses Scorch, which is a kind of area of effect, area denial, fire-based deal. And you're like, oh man, that's really cool. I hope I get that soon. You go just 10 more minutes in, there's Scorch. There you go, you've unlocked it. Now you get to use that. So you get this cool sense of progression along the way.
It's not like Mega Man, though, in which you get to pick what you're going for.
No, it's more you beat the boss, you get his powers.
Okay, that's very Half-Life-esque. You go up against an enemy with a gun, and then within seconds of killing him, you get that gun.
Okay. I actually forgot that about Half-Life. But it's got the speed of Vanquish, which was one of my favorite third-person shooters last generation.
I actually really liked that one. I played, I don't know, a couple hours of it.
It was phenomenal.
It was difficult and challenging,
It was very difficult.
and I guess that was part of the enjoyment.
But it was kind of like a Devil May Cry meets third-person shooter thing, which I thought it had a sense of style and flow, which you get from this as well.
I'll have to go back and check that out.
Yeah, if you've never played Vanquish, I highly recommend go do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
So it was all great. It was fun. 100% of the game in about 2 days. The achievements are not difficult. It took me 2 playthroughs because I did it once on normal. Then you have to beat it on the hardest difficulty, which was weird. So normally, do y'all generally beat games on hardest difficulties?
yeah, usually, unless there's like one of those like you will regret yourself difficulties, I'll play on the hardest difficulty by default.
Okay.
I play on medium, in between medium and hard, mostly medium.
I generally do medium. If I go to replay it again, then I'll do it on something harder.
There's the only games that I do play on the hardest difficulty are Kingdom Hearts, but I play them on normal first way through so I can learn how to do everything.
Right.
And then I go back and do the hard difficulty for the secret endings and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I guess that's fair. It's really I only do hard on games that I've played earlier in the series or that are similar, just because I've already beaten it on hard previously. I know I can do like the next game on hard.
Right. So normally how difficulty works in a video game is it's a curve, and you don't want it to ever be too steep of a curve, but
Right.
you want it to be a nice general curve, so as you learn the game, enemies get more difficult. Titanfall 2 does this a little backwards. The curve kind of does this sharp downward slope, and then eventually levels out. The first 2 levels are incredibly difficult on its highest difficulty, because you don't have a lot of the equipment, but the AI is already souped up. They've already got a lot of equipment. They're already kicking your ass, and you don't have a lot you can do to stop them.
I've played games that are like that where it's really if you can get past a certain point and get the power-ups, then you're set for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I noticed the first 2 levels, which they do levels kind of weird. They have, I think it's 9 levels total, 7 or 9 levels total, but levels 2, 3, and 4 are split up into 3 chunks, which are each like 30 minutes long.
Okay. I was going to say, because, yeah, that's kind of the same difficulty curve for Dead Rising games where you start out and you have no perks unlocked, you don't know how to make any of the combo weapons, and all the bosses are very difficult because of that. But then once you get to the later parts of the game, you're running in with machine gun gloves, just wasting everything.
Okay, I guess I just haven't played a lot of games that were like that. It threw me off at first. Because those first 2 levels took me about 2 hours each.
I've not seen it in, like, linear shooters, though.
Yeah, that's what I usually play on for hardest difficulty. Like, I'll do Call of Duty on Veteran to get those achievements. It just kind of threw me off with Titanfall 2. But then once you beat the second level, at that point on, it almost becomes easy. To the point, I got to the final boss thinking, surely there is one more fight. I remember there being something difficult at the end. Nope. It was simple.
Do you think it's maybe because you played through the entire game and got used to having that equipment?
I thought about that, but I feel like I would have... No, I don't know. That could have been a big factor in it. It threw me off.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
it's
Square
fun.
Enix games that have that same concept.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VIII was that way, where it was very difficult at the beginning, but as you went through, it got a lot easier. 9 was that way.
I feel like a lot of RPGs are because, I mean, they're designed to reward you for, like, going and doing the side quest stuff.
Dragon Age Inquisition sure as hell is that way.
That's true. Well, yeah, with an RPG, you kind of level up. You can over-level yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I'd say the first Mass Effect was heavily that way. I remember, like, what's that noise?
The hell was that? Spirit? Goblins?
Was it a ghost of a living
Germans?
person who's not dead?
I don't know about the fucking y'all, but I'm still praying to Jeebus.
Well, anyways, if that gets picked up...
If it
then-
gets picked up, that was spooky.
Yeah. But I mean, that's kind of like Mass Effect was definitely that way. I remember like the first Ice Planet was brutally difficult if you played on the harder difficulties, where you're fighting the Rachni. Yeah, I mean that was just insanely hard. But really, once you got past that and started getting the perks unlocked, it was super easy to just breeze through the rest of the game.
Yeah. So yeah, Titanfall 2, I really love it. It's such a great game.
I know one game that we've all been playing a little bit. We finally got into Destiny hard mode.
So is it kind of weird that I forgot when we were getting ready to start this, you had mentioned, hey, we should talk about us beating a heroic. I thought, wasn't that last week?
It kind of does feel like that. But no, we finally, with our main group, beat heroic mode. And everyone got through it.
You say main group. We've beaten it with one person from the main group.
Yeah, I was going to say, those were more your older
I'm sorry,
group that you play with.
Let me phrase that. The three of us have all beaten heroic mode now.
Yes. We all beat it. It reminds me of why I don't like to do heroic mode.
Really?
That one, yeah.
I agree with you. The first fight, very much so. The rest of it was not that bad.
No, the Dead Zamboni is still by far the best thing they've ever done in
that
Destiny.
was a fucking hoot and a half.
Love it. I actually kind of prefer it with the walker there. I think
that is actually kind of fun.
That walker does go down really quick.
Oh,
and it's a lot easier to hit it because I was just using the Genesis chain.
Yeah,
just kind of standing. I was kind of barely on top of it, just slightly raised above his head because when it popped down, and I was still getting the crit shots.
Yeah.
It does, though. I mean, the Death Zamboni part is the most technical and like most tech heavy part of anything Destiny has done. I mean, it almost always has frame drops. The walker does have some issues where, because of that, I think it doesn't register damage all the time.
Yeah. Myself and one of the guys we were running with had a huge issue with that. We were shooting at its legs, and we were getting hit markers, but no damage was being done.
Yeah, well, that's
that
like
happened with me too.
And I would have chalked it up to just one of those typical glitches, like sometimes the numbers don't show up, but it wasn't going down.
Right. Well, that's like when we beat it last night. That's what killed me is it was just sitting there and it looked like it was ready to take damage, and then all of a sudden it said it killed me.
Yeah.
Because I guess it was I don't know if that was lag or just the game was trying to catch up. But it's still a lot of fun.
It was really weird. But technical issues aside, that was the only fun part of the raid.
Really, I actually liked the later parts of it.
I hate Axis.
You keep going. I'm throwing.
What's up?
What are you doing, Steve?
I don't know. Pay no attention to the screens though.
Okay.
I really like the Zamboni fight. I like it better on hard mode than I do on normal. Because I'll take that Zamboni over those fucking captains any day of the week.
Yeah, I noticed. I think they cut the number of captains down by half.
They cut out all the captains.
No,
because they're still a group.
Captains.
But we just took them out super quick.
Well, we also did it a different way than we usually do. Instead of going into the trench, we kind of fought our way across the top.
Sure.
So I almost wonder if it's because we were taking the captains out as they spawned, there just wasn't that big group of them at the end that we're normally used to seeing.
And now, granted, I know the last couple of times we've run on normal, I run in there with Dark Drinker, and anytime something pops up out of the ground, it's pretty much wiped. And the only hard part is trying to get up that ramp.
Yeah, y'all been doing something different on the ground. I've been the one running back to the Zamboni to kill the captain up there. So I haven't seen what y'all been doing, but every time I'll kill the captain, turn around, and y'all are at the ramp ready to go. And I don't kill him super slow.
I know we run multiple tether. We shoot at least 2 tethers. I run up there with Dark Drinker and just start slinging that sword around left and right, and it wipes. I can 2-shot those captains with the Dark Drinker, and I just got my Dark Drinker up to 392.
Yeah, it depends. If you're above 390 in general, I was noticing I was taking the captains down in about 1 Dark Drinker swing. That guy on the Zamboni, because I was doing it last night.
Yeah,
he went down in 2 swings.
Oh, did he? Yeah, I think last time I did it, it took 3 swings.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, Destiny is weird in that it's all about getting tiny little advances that make a huge difference when fighting the bosses.
Right.
But I know I want to go back to what don't you like about Axis, because that is my favorite raid boss out of all of them.
I don't
bullshit. Excuse me, continue.
Well, I mean, which boss is better than Axis? The rest all have major issues and are very, very infuriating.
Crota.
Well, we are also super overleveled and solo that bitch.
If you go back to Crota in year one...
Please keep in mind that my favorite bosses have nothing to do with the fact that we are overleveled, the fact that we can solo the shit.
Oh, you're not talking the mechanic. You're talking the actual character.
No. I'm talking the mechanics.
Because we don't do the right mechanics
For
Crota.
Crota?
Yeah.
Watching videos, yeah, we're pretty damn close.
We're two-manning it. We don't do it like
we're still pretty damn
like year
close.
one.
We're still pretty damn close.
Here's the big difference. You are able to kill Crota because you can do enough damage. Year one Crota, if you messed up one rotation with the sword, it was a wipe. There was no recovery. You had to time it so perfectly because there was also the issue of if his health gets low enough on hard mode, he goes into enrage. You had to time it perfectly so that you hit him, I believe it was exactly 13 times, stopped, and waited for another rotation. And if you didn't get that final sword in, you either hit his enrage because of how long you took, or you hit his enrage because you hit him 14 times instead of 13. It was unbelievably infuriating, especially because the little sword knight that you have to get the sword from, you couldn't kill him in just like one or two shots before. There would be so many times when you'd hit him and you'd just decide, I'm just going to leave. I'm going to go run off into one of the side rooms where you can't find me. It was brutal trying to do that. Plus, back then, you had to use rockets to drop Crota's shields. And that was before they fixed the glitches where you would just lose heavy ammo every time you died. And go back down to 0 rockets anytime you wiped.
Jeez. See,
Axis is the best boss ever. He works. There's hard parts, but he goddamn works.
no, he still has his issues.
He works-ish.
No,
There have been times where we're over him, we're dunking, and he disappears.
I've never had one where we've actually dunked and he's gone anyways. I've had ones where people have gone too high, which is a little frustrating, and I do wish they'd give you more time to dunk. But compared to the other raid bosses, I will take that any day.
I don't know. I think my favorite boss is still Oryx. I love the Oryx raid. It's super difficult. It's hard to get people in the right positions. Everyone has to be able to do a specific job really well, but it's so much fun. I don't have fun with Wrath. Well, I don't have fun with Axis or Vosig on hard. Vosig's on normal is easy and I don't care, but on hard, Vosig isn't fun, Axis isn't fun. Zamboni's super fun.
I guarantee you, get to the point where we're all 400 and a high enough light level that the extreme challenge goes away, they'll be enjoyable again.
It's not the extreme challenge. I like a good challenge.
Yeah, it's not the challenge.
I like Oryx on hard mode.
My big issue with Oryx is the fact that if one person dies, it's a wipe no matter what.
It's a wipe no matter what in heroic anyway.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I mean, if someone dies early in Axis fight, you might as well wipe because you want the higher DPS. But if you're down to the last 4 people, you can still complete that fight. On Oryx, if one person dies, I don't know that you're actually able to finish the Oryx fight.
You can't.
Unless you're in the final DPS phase.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
or
true.
any part of that Oryx raid where you've got 4 people, if any part of that Oryx fight on hard, one person dies, you have to wipe.
For instance, on Vosix, there was we wound up wiping, but there was a rotation where we had 2 people die, and he was close enough that we said we're just going to try and beat him.
But we didn't.
We didn't, but
because we didn't have enough DPS at that point. We weren't doing enough damage
for the monitors. We didn't, but I mean that's the thing.
Still,
I mean, if we get to the point where we have that DPS without having to have all 6 people alive, I guarantee you the fight will be much more enjoyable.
Well, yeah, I mean everything's a little more enjoyable when it's easier, but I like a good challenge. I just don't enjoy the Axis fight.
The Vosix fight is a little too difficult. Axis was a little bit. I did enjoy the Axis fight because you had more bombs. The more bombs made it a lot more fun because instead of it just being 1, 2, 3, it was, oh shit, where are we going? Where's this going? Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit!
For me, it's stressful. Which I don't know if you noticed. I normally am a floater in that final fight, but I asked you to do it because I'm stressed out during that final fight.
Yeah.
that I'm not good floating.
Maybe that's some of it. I mean, we've also, I think we should point out, at this point in time, we've also only beaten the heroic mode. I guess for you and me, technically it's twice because you had to bug out the first night.
But I'm going to beat it again tonight for the second time.
Right. So, I mean, we've also only beaten it twice, so it's still super stressful. I imagine, I know for me at least, the first time that we beat Crota, it was such a hyped up, stressful moment. Everyone was screaming. Most people had to take their headsets off and set controllers down to calm down.
No, it's not stressful as in it's not stressful as in it's exciting and oh my god, we're getting it. It was stressful in that for me there was so much happening.
Sensory overload.
It was a sensory overload, thank you.
Maybe
that's more of what it was for me.
I know with the raids, generally my take on it is to try and get people their job and have them only worry about their job.
And actually, this might be a fault to some of the people we were playing with at that time. We had one person who was getting on my nerves throughout his part of the raid.
About that's who he is.
But it doesn't excuse it, and it got really frustrating. And then so we finally get to the second part of Axis. I'm already stressed out dealing with him. I'm worried about failing or screwing something up because of his fucking attitude. He pissed me off.
We can talk about that afterwards because I know who you're talking about.
But
he does not mean anything hostile with that. That's a product of the group that we've run with. For the first 2 years of playing Destiny, we called each other out on shit all the time because that's just how we played.
I don't mind getting called out when I mess something up. He had little quips along the way. Of the one that stuck out to me is, man, you shouldn't have any trouble with these captains. They are so easy to kill. It's like, well, clearly not. I'm having a little trouble, motherfucker. I'm not as good as you.
I'll fill you in later. You ran with him last night, so I'm going to get your opinion.
But he was only there for the end. I had to deal with him.
He was there for pretty much since Vossix.
No. He didn't hop in until the very end, because remember, we had one guy who bugged out.
I'm going to talk to you after this, because now I'm confused.
Yeah, I'll tell you. We'll talk after. But anyway, that may have been part of why I was stressed out in that final part. So maybe running it with a normal group that's a little more laid back, maybe a better experience. But it has the same issue that I have with every heroic raid. Death is permanent.
I agree.
That's part of the challenge.
No, that is bullshit.
That's part of the challenge.
That's not part of the challenge. The challenge is the new mechanics and the updated things happening. Like having to throw 6 bombs in the Vossix fight each round. That's challenging because now everybody has that responsibility. Dying is just a bullshit, false sense of challenge.
See, here's my take on it. After this is the 3rd year of playing Destiny, I don't mind that there's a point where death is permanent. That I'm okay with. It's been most MMOs, death is permanent at a certain point. What I wish is you either had some kind of either shared lot of, okay, you get 3 revives this fight.
That would be fine.
I'd be more okay with that because there's so many times when just the nature of Destiny, because it's a first-person shooter with AI doing stuff randomly, regardless of where you are or what you're doing, there's going to be moments when you just get, for instance, like last night, 4 enemies just all at the same time decided to throw bombs.
Yeah.
There's not much you can do, no matter how good you are, if 4 of them just at the same time throw a bomb.
Yeah.
I disagree. You could not be a bitch.
What?
Need I point out who got killed by those 4 bombs?
I'm just saying, don't be a bitch.
Who got gunned down by the turret on right side?
The bitch.
Yeah.
That fucking turret kicked my ass.
There was one part in Vossix, and this is just an example of it. There was one part in the Vossix fight, even on left side, which is the easy side, because the enemies funnel through, it's the Thermopylae effect. They funnel through a very small corridor.
That is a very good word.
Well, it's not a word, it's actually a place.
Very good analogy.
It's an analogy, thank you.
Go.
But the enemies come through and only 1 or 2 at a time can actually fit through this gap. So even though there's a bunch of enemies, they tend to stay in the back away from everything, so it's fine. We don't have to kill all of our ads on left because they're just going to hang out back there where they can't hurt anybody. But the problem with this is they have hidey holes back there because there's multiple boxes on the left side. There are vandals. We had at one point 3 vandals just standing there, and they would just lob grenades over this wall and would kill. 3 grenades will kill you instantly.
Pretty much, unless you're above 390.
No, they killed me instantly. 3
Did
grenades
they?
would hit me
Oh,
at
wow.
once, and there's nothing I can do. Even if I see them, as soon as they leave, as soon as they show up in the air, I'm ducking behind cover. They have tracking. They went around the cover and hit me. It's like, I can't do anything about that, and now the whole thing is wiped.
That I agree with. That's why I wish there was just like everyone gets 1 revive, or maybe the team as a whole gets some revives.
That would be perfect. Limit the number of lives would be great, but having just permadeath in that sense is more frustrating than anything, because a lot of times our deaths are just from glitches or things beyond our control.
Right, well, there's like tons of times where we'll all be running in a group, and just because of the way that people jump, it happened to me last night. Luckily, I was able to recover it in like the last second, but you'll get Goomba stomped by the person above you, and you'll just rocket down.
Yeah.
And that kills people all the time.
Yeah.
And there's not really much you can do to control that. But other than that, I mean,
He said,
Yeah, you said a lot of ums. It's all right. It's copyrighted. Stop it.
I didn't say the T.
There it is again.
God, now you've called it out, and I can't stop.
You're not supposed to use
I know.
Learn how to talk.
Aside from the,
Sorry, that's gonna bother me now.
no dying allowed. Was there anything else in hard mode, though, that y'all thought was really brutal? I mean, Vossix it was weird because the first fight, Vossix, like the first actual in the raid boss fight, was the only part I thought that was legitimately more difficult.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the only thing that I thought was more difficult than normal. And really, it's just because of the ads.
Yeah.
We just spawn a lot. Well, I guess it's the same number of ads, but
I think it's people are not as used to, because you have where realistically, everyone throws a bomb. There's strategies that don't do that, but they put more stress on other parts. But because there's no one killing ads, I think that it's just something where no one really has had experience trying to run away from ads and not fight them when there's just tons coming at you.
yeah.
It's something that's just not intuitive or
Well,
easy
yeah,
to
it
do.
goes against your intuition to
Your
stay
fight or
and
flight.
fight.
Yeah, your fight or flight instinct.
All of
that's
Destiny
why-
has trained you to just kill all the ads and then take care of the issue.
Right.
That's every single challenge, and then suddenly we have one that doesn't. You don't want to do that. It's
That's
weird.
why. Should we point out like the strategy we used for Vossix?
Nah,
Before we
we're
get
good.
to that, you guys actually just reminded me. I wanted to talk about. I finally figured out why I was having so much difficulty with that TV fight.
Mm-hmm.
Oryx challenge mode. There were no major differences for War Priest. There were no major differences for
There was a huge difference.
You mean
for
hard
War
mode.
Priest.
hard mode.
There was a huge difference for War Priest.
Not for people. Not really. He he gained extra abilities.
Yeah, but
The
that
fight was still the same.
it completely changes the which pillars you burn. And when you're running it on normal, you can burn the pillars in any order. Because of the abilities, if he gets that left side ability, everyone is fucked.
Well,
Everyone.
I think the thing we had is we burned them in the same order that you burn them anyway.
Yeah,
Like that was just the order we did them in.
we always did them right, middle.
But y'all also
we do right, middle, left.
the first time y'all did the Oryx fight was
Normal.
after hard mode came out.
No,
No.
we did it
Wasn't
just
it?
before
We
hard
did
mode
it,
came
yeah,
out.
we finished it right before hard mode came out. Because remember, I got real pissed that you guys were going to run it without me because I missed the text by like 2 minutes. But that's neither here nor there.
I don't remember that because I want to say that when y'all jump back into Destiny, that was when like the Prison of Elders got revamped and everything, wasn't it?
No, we jumped in right at the start of year 2.
Yeah.
I mean, we picked up
Did
Taken
you?
King at launch.
Yeah, we picked up Taken King at launch.
For some reason, I thought you jumped in later than that.
No.
Okay, well, never mind then, because I was going to say just that a lot of how people ran normal changed because of hard.
We always just went right to left. I don't remember who suggested it. It's like, whatever, we'll do it. Sure.
Yeah. Just
So it
because
wasn't
that
much
left
of a
side's the
difference.
hardest side to get up on.
Oh yeah, that's it. So we just do right to left as just a kind of sequence thing.
Yeah.
Left being the last ditch effort.
But for the War Priest challenge, it was same person can't take the brand twice. There was not really as much of a change as far as how you fought that fight, except for that.
I think there was more of a change in how you fought the fight, though, than there is with the Vossix challenge.
Oh
'cause
God, no.
Vossix, you close the door with a bomb instead.
But as far as hard mode I'm not talking about just the challenge. I'm talking about hard mode in general.
Oh, you keep mentioning the challenge.
Okay,
Yeah.
Forget the challenges then. But hard mode in general, there's no major difference in fighting the War Priest fight from normal to hard.
I guess that's fair. Golgoroth. I mean, you have
Golgoroth.
one person has to jump out, which
But that's one person. That's not the whole group.
true. I mean, it's something that can cause a raid wipe. So I'd say it's something that you
It's-
have to pay attention to.
Yeah, but
it's not as
a-
drastic of a change.
But that's
Yeah, it's
one
not a big
small
deal.
that's one small change from normal to hard. That's it. One small change.
Oryx had a pretty big change though. That
You had to
changed-
nuke all 16 bombs at once.
No,
No.
that's not hard mode.
That was
Hard mode
challenge.
was you had the knights that
Oh,
would
the
eat
knights.
the bombs, and
That
that was
was
a
significant.
huge change. That
Yeah.
crushed so many teams.
That changed. In fact, I do remember that changed completely how we handled Oryx fight.
Yeah.
From that point on.
Okay, so Oryx had the most significant change. Okay, I'll give you guys that. But I also don't know what... Well, no, we've seen all the hard mode stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Vossix has the most significant change, and I'd say that it's even less of a dramatic change than Oryx was.
What's weird, it's kind of backwards this time around.
Yeah.
Vossix, the first boss is the one who's got the major change, and then it kind of decelerates as you go along.
Yeah.
To the point where, I mean, the last two encounters are
Essentially the same thing.
with just
Except
one more
for
thing
those
to pay
turrets,
attention.
yes.
Yeah.
You just got to look at the turret, man.
Yes, but
Well,
once somebody started making the call-outs of right when the turrets were up, that helped.
Yeah, the hard thing with that is they don't all come back at the same time.
No, but that's why if you've got somebody, if they see the turret, they call it out, it helps.
I agree with you. The turrets suck because if you're throwing a bomb and it comes up at that point, you're not going to know while you're throwing the bomb.
Yeah.
They do suck.
And you
but
won't be able to stop it while you're throwing the bomb.
It forces you to move a lot slower in a spot where you're traditionally need to go fast.
Yeah.
So I felt like there were more significant changes from this hard mode as opposed to the Oryx hard mode.
I guess
I'd say it's actually about the same. It's just reversed.
to me, I
Because
really
Vossix is a huge difference.
Yeah.
But then it just decelerates as you go along.
yeah. Which I want to point out, Bungie, if you ever somehow hear this, not a good thing to do. First boss should not be the hardest boss. That is how you get loot to go get to the final boss. Every other raid, the one thing that was like the reason to come back to it when you couldn't complete it was the fact that, well, we'll beat the first couple bosses, get loot, and we'll be better prepared for the next time we get to the end.
The exact same complaint I had with Titanfall 2 on Master Difficulty. I'm just throwing that out there. That's
But
what
we've
I
ranted
did.
about Destiny for how long now?
It's been a little bit. We'll move on.
There was some new stuff.
There's actually a lot of a lot of small news stuff. Nothing major. The biggest one, I think, to me, yeah, Shadow of the Tomb Raider got leaked.
I saw that it leaked. I didn't see anything else though. That's about as big a news to me as just them saying there's another Tomb Raider, which we kind of knew.
Yeah, but it was interesting on where and how it got leaked. So it was found by a Redditor who was just sitting on the subway next to a guy working on his laptop.
Wait, that's seriously how it was found? I thought that was a joke.
No, it was a Redditor took a screenshot of somebody who was working on an official document for Shadow of the Tomb Raider. He saw the logo, and that's what caught his attention.
I thought that was a joke that people kept saying that someone just like looked over on a train. I thought they were making a joke of how easily Squeenix stuff leaks.
No, if you look at the picture, you can see the background of the train.
That is incredible.
But what was interesting about it is it was found in Montreal, not San Francisco, which Crystal Dynamics, the company that has been making Tomb Raider for the last couple games, is in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. But this was found in Montreal, which the only Square Enix company that I can think of is Eidos, Montreal.
I mean,
Which-
they have people around the world who work on different stuff.
I know, but it's interesting. It's more a speculation, just kind of having fun with the thought. But it makes me wonder what they're working on in terms of Tomb Raider. Because I don't think they worked on Rise of the Tomb Raider at all.
Who?
I don't know.
Eidos Montreal?
No, Montreal did not.
I don't think they did. I don't think Eidos worked on it at all.
No, there wasn't Eidos
Because they were
logo.
working on... They were working on the Mankind Divided, the new Deus Ex game.
Yeah.
At the time. So it was an interesting little thing. I thought it was kind of
Yeah.
cool. Plus, I love knowing that there's a new Tomb Raider coming out. This reboot has been phenomenal so far.
I love the rebooted Tomb Raider. That's what got me into Tomb Raider.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I've been a huge fan of Tomb Raider for a long time. Well,
I've played it
say
to a
that.
little bit, but I've never been like a big fan.
I played the originals. That was actually my first game that I played was Tomb Raider. The original Tomb Raider. So it's kind of had a place in my heart for a long time. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Plus they've been doing the whole 20-year celebration this year. And in it they showed the improvements coming to PS4 Pro. Did y'all see that at all?
No.
It was kind of cool. Obviously the 4K resolution. Yes, Steve?
Is Lara Croft as old as Pikachu?
How old is Pokemon?
20
20
years.
years.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It's their 20-year anniversary this year.
Yeah.
Are Lara Croft and Pikachu the same age?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Does that mean Ash is only 3 years younger? That started
guess.
in 99, didn't it? The anime? Or the cartoon.
97.
Was it 97? Okay.
97.
So he's a year younger.
So we need that. We totally need that Rule 34 Ash and Lara.
No, we don't. We do
Do
not
it.
need any. We do not need any Peacock in this.
Yes. The PS4 Pro, new stuff, 4K resolutions, obviously. But they have 3 different modes, which I hope is kind of the standard going forward with these sort of iterative console. He's highlighting his... What is that supposed to
stop.
be? Your nipple?
Just stop. I can't take anything seriously when you're doing this. You don't
I
hear.
win.
Okay.
You don't hear. I'm just censoring you.
So they've got a 4K mode. Obviously, everything's at 4K, but it runs at 30 frames a second. Then they've got high frame rate mode, which is supposed to run up to 60 frames, but they didn't say always 60 frames. And then it runs at 1080p. Then they've got a high fidelity mode, which sounded cool.
That sounds dirty.
It's 1080p, 30 frames a second, but all the like detail effects are souped up. So the shadow, the like soft shadows from the sun, details like that, the anisotropic filtering, a lot of PC terms, but stuff that you don't get to see on a console.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was kind of interesting. It's not 4K textures and that stuff, but it's a cool middle ground. That
Yeah, it's interesting because I know it's, and maybe we can get into this some other time. It's weird the like next jump to console we're doing all of a sudden.
yeah, we'll get into that kind of thing some other time. But I want to see that going forward with a lot of other games because there are a lot of people who say, "Oh, I gotta have 60 frames per second. I don't care what it looks like as long as it runs 60 frames." Well, there you go. 1080p, 60 frames, perfect. You're good. But I'm someone who I prefer games at 30 frames, especially cinematic titles,
Yeah,
because it looks more akin to a film at that point, which runs at 24 frames per second for a reason. So
I'm just gonna be interesting to see how this affects like the development because the whole thing with consoles is always the console is basically an across the board. Everyone has the same for console. So you can just make the same game for everyone. You don't have to worry about like on a PC, everyone has different video cards and such.
I don't think it's going to be too big of an issue. I think it'll be the same issue that PC developers have where people can customize their options.
But I mean, that's kind of the thing that makes console games usually much more stable than their PC counterparts.
But they're only, instead of having a wide range of customized options, you have 3.
I
You
guess.
have 3
I don't
select
know.
ones so they can just preset, make sure they work, done.
It's all on the developer to do it anyways, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's all on
So-
developer.
It'll probably be like 3 games that do it, and then we'll never hear about it again.
But it's so cool. I love the idea.
So
Why
Steve,
are you grinning like a psychopath?
Steve has a weird thought, random thought.
Is it about Rule 34?
No, it's actually about what you guys are talking about.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit more relevant. So you guys are talking about, the 60 frames per second on PC and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
There's a DBZ meme I saw a couple weeks ago where it was Goku and Cell kind of fighting during the Cell games. It's right before all the shit hits the fan, and it's the two of them going back and forth, and across them it's got PC gamers. And down on the ground it flashes back to Yamcha, Tien, and Krillin.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo across each of them. Like, holy crap, we can't see what's going on. They're moving too fast.
Yeah,
It
I've
just
seen that.
That made me giggle. Like you guys were talking about all of that, and I was like, that's exactly what that is.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, no, the title was PC Gamers Playing Shooters.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much.
Because it made me laugh. Okay, sorry.
No, that was actually pretty funny.
I felt it was relevant.
It was. There was a little bit of other news, but not a ton. I saw that there was a little bit of Mass Effect Andromeda stuff, but
yes,
not a
it
lot.
finally did get a release. It finally got a trailer.
Well, it's had a trailer. It got a trailer at the PS4 Pro announcement.
Is this a different trailer? I thought it was the same one.
It's the one with the footprint on the moon?
This is a new trailer, but it's not its first trailer.
Okay, because this is the only trailer I've ever seen.
Oh, this is the second trailer.
Oh, I didn't realize this was a new trailer. I thought it was just like a little bit of news.
No, it's a trailer.
It's
okay.
trailer.
Trailer. Can we say that again? Trailer.
Trailer.
Mine.
Trailer.
Bueller.
Yeah, I was gonna wait to talk about Mass Effect because in 7 days coming up, and they said there's gonna be a lot of big announcements at that, including release dates and stuff like that. So I figured I was gonna kind of wait on that.
What's happening in 7 days?
In 7 day.
Oh, N7.
November 7th.
Okay.
Yeah.
N7. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought
so
you
I
were saying
figured-
N7. IN7.
Oh no, in like the letter.
The letter N7 day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you know this about Mass Effect, but Commander TARDIS rides around. I'm gonna stop. I was trying to come up with something clever, and my brain shut
I
down.
see
I
your
know
brain.
what you're going through here.
I saw the gears turn. I was like, he can't. He's trying to do something clever. He can't do it.
I was trying, but I immediately was thinking about what I wanted to talk about next, so I couldn't get away from it.
Well,
That
I'll let
failed.
you bring up because there's one thing I want to bring up just because of how out of the blue weird it was.
Oh, no, go ahead.
So Nintendo did their Nintendo Direct this week, and all they talked about was Animal Crossing. And for whatever reason, someone in their infinite wisdom decided the best way to do it was to dress up I think it was the creative director, as a hippie who was high on something, set him next to a guy in a white morph suit with a dog head on, and talk about Animal Crossing. And it was the weirdest thing I have ever seen.
Yeah,
But aside from that, the whole Nintendo Direct was about an update to a game that came out. I actually looked it up. It came out in America in 2013. There's not been new content for this game since 2014. It's been pretty much just out for 2 years with nothing, and now there's a huge overhaul update that adds amiibo support and a ton of new minigames.
that's really weird. Don't they have another Animal Crossing game though?
They don't have any major title Animal Crossings. They had Amiibo Festival, which was just like a really shitty version of Mario Party
Okay,
that was played with amiibos. And then they had Happy Home Designer, which is
that's what I'm thinking of.
that's kind of like
That's
they
more-
took one aspect of Animal Crossing and did only that aspect.
Okay,
Here's the weird thing. This new update adds in all the features that were Happy Home Designer things into the old Animal Crossing game. So like being able to use your touchscreen to move furniture and stuff and all that, which was the big thing with Happy Home Designer. And I know no one cares because no one plays Animal Crossing.
well,
But
what
I
this
mean,
makes me think is we're not going to see another Animal Crossing for a little while.
well, that's something that kind of concerned me because all the features that they've added in would be fit for a new Animal Crossing game. They really could have just said, hey, we're making a new Animal Crossing game with these features. You still get to be the mayor and you still get all the stuff from the old one, but now it has new features. Because that's really all they do with each new Animal Crossing.
To be fair, I haven't played Animal Crossing since 2004, I think, the first one.
I think the first one was on Gamecube,
It was GameCube. So,
at least in America. I think there was a one before that in Japan.
I don't know. I'm in America. I don't know if you know this.
Really?
But,
I thought this was Sweden. I thought we were the Swedish.
I found out a couple years ago I'm like 1/8 Swedish.
Damn Swede.
Anyway,
I
fun
just thought
fact.
it was weird because it's a lot of stuff they're adding just to a game that's been out for I guess it's only 3 years now.
By the way, for future reference, Steve, you don't have to type in the full question. Just type in Animal Crossing release.
Also, I was
It'll
referring
serve
to New
this.
Leaf. Or are you looking for the original one?
No, for what I said.
North America
2005.
on December 5th, 2005.
That's Wild World.
No,
Wild
that's
World
Animal
was the
Crossing.
DS.
That's Animal Crossing.
That's Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing Wild World.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that one says Wild World. That one was for the DS.
You are completely right.
The original Animal Crossing was out in like 2004 on the GameCube. I want to say that or 2003, but I want to say there was a even older version in Japan.
We've upgraded. We've gone from Googling on our phones to Googling on big screens.
Yes, which somehow takes longer.
Boom, you're both wrong. Nintendo 64.
There was not one in America on Nintendo 64. I guarantee you that was not in America.
Animal Crossing. Oh, come up. Oh, well, there
Animal
we go.
Crossing 2001, Animal Forest originally released in Japan for the N64 in 2001.
Yeah. But it was released on GameCube the same year because GameCube came out that time.
They were still making
Okay.
64 games at that point in Japan, but not for
so
America.
that's
Kind of like Twilight
that's
Princess.
why I thought that there was.
guess.
That's
Yeah,
why I
Twilight
thought that it was an older one because I knew there was one that was before the
Yeah, that
GameCube
one came out on the
in
game. So the one that was on the 64 came out on the GameCube. In
So it's the same.
2001.
Yeah, it's the same
Okay.
one. But the one I was referring to came out 2002
Yeah,
in America.
Which one?
The first one.
Okay.
2002.
It's an interesting game. I mean, it's.
I've
I don't
never
know.
had any urge to
I
play
like
it.
it. It's fun. Screw everyone who says
As a
otherwise.
kid, I thought, okay, cool. It's like The Sims, but Nintendo, cool.
Yeah, it's
but
a friend simulator for lonely people.
it actually made me really nervous because time ticked away at normal pace in that game.
Yes.
I could only ever play it at night because of school. I was a little kid, so I had school and homework, and then I get to play at like 8 o'clock, and everything's asleep and it's dark. I was like, this
That's
isn't
where
fun.
you learn to change your GameCube internal clock.
I didn't care enough about it to do that. I didn't start caring about that kind of stuff till achievements were involved.
I did that because on the GameCube, if you change the date, you could get like special openings.
See, I didn't care. I really didn't care at that point.
So you cheated the system.
Oh yeah, do you not know that like the GameCube has tons of secret ways that you can start it to get different little intro animations?
It's got all kinds of little Easter eggs, but PS2 had the same thing.
Yeah, but the GameCube was cooler.
No,
So you're
Because
a
it was
bitch.
a cube.
no, it was cooler because it had a handle,
Yes.
not because it was a cube.
I agree with that too.
But it's not cooler than the PS2.
I liked the GameCube. It was fun.
It was okay.
Correction. Melee was fun.
You like one game on the GameCube.
Melee and
GameCube
Double
had-
Dash.
There you go.
GameCube was, in my opinion, the last true, like, great Nintendo home console.
False.
The Wii was not.
False.
Are you gonna say Wii U?
I was going to go 64.
The
I'd say
GameCube
the
was
GameCube
amazing.
was good. It was a good console.
I felt like the 64 was better.
Wind Waker,
Well-
Luigi's Mansion, Sunshine, Super Mario Sunshine. Right there, three of the most iconic AAA titles from my childhood.
And Pikmin.
Pikmin, I love Pikmin, but no one else does, so I never bring it up.
That's why I was confused.
You get to throw carrots.
No, GameCube was
Carrots.
GameCube was a great system. I never played it because I had a PS2 and didn't need to play it. Obviously, I had a PS2.
I
but
remember why I hated GameCube. They took Spyro.
no, Spyro was on PS2.
Yeah, Spyro's on PC.
That Spyro game that was on the GameCube came out on GameCube a year earlier than it did on PS2.
I don't know which one that is.
Year of the Dragon. No, something with the Dragonfly? Spark of the Dragonfly?
I don't think I played it.
I think that was after Activision took over,
Possibly.
which I don't care about Spyro after Activision took over.
Yeah.
They were not good.
No. The last good one was Year of the Dragon.
But aside from that, was there anything else aside that you wanted to bring up? I know Animal Crossing was the last big little bit of news that I saw.
Really?
What else was this week?
Oh shit, we have been going for a while.
No, I think we've pretty much covered all the topics we wanted to talk about.
I
Minus-
didn't.
Well, bring
Shit,
them
I
up.
didn't realize we were going. I didn't realize we had gone this long. I still have a shit ton of stuff I was wanting to talk about. I guess y'all don't care about some of it. I showed
Lightning
y'all
round.
that Project Wight though.
Oh, you did show us Project Wight. Which
That game looks insane.
I've only seen the little clip you showed, but now I want to know more.
So it's actually from two of the designers of Bad Company 2. They worked on the Battlefield series for a long time. They went off, made their own company. It's a really cool. It's a medieval set game where you play as monsters in a medieval setting. So it kind of flips the role on the
Yeah.
hero villain thing.
You don't really see that a lot. Last game I saw that did that well was Destroy All Humans.
Yeah. So you play as I think it's a monster from Norse mythology, if I remember right.
You looked like a little frog bat, as far as I could tell.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what you are, but you're some little thing, and it's just survival and fighting back for your species. Humans have been wiping out your species for a while. In fact, the opening of the trailer showed you played as like a little, like a new hatched.
I'm gonna call it
monster.
frog bat. Your baby frog bat.
Okay, a baby frog bat,
Man Big Bear.
and you sneak up to a bunch of humans torturing your dad.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks really cool. It's still in prototype stage right now, but they've got the idea and they are looking to push it to an actual product here in the next couple months.
That'd be an interesting VR game for like an otherworldly experience.
No, I don't want VR.
No.
No, because it restricts your movements at that point.
Fair enough. Well, we can get into that later because I've seen some cool stuff, but it's nowhere near.
Yeah, I'd prefer it to just stay on, even if it's just a PC game. Something. I hope to see it come to consoles. That'd be really cool. Because it looks really interesting.
Anyways, I guess that makes episode 3. Did we do it?
Well, we haven't had technical difficulties, so yes.
Is this the first one?
You moved my ghost.
Well, I did.
You son of a bitch! You moved my
He
ghost.
was where I sit.
You moved my ghost.
Well, we're gonna figure out about the ghost and whether this is the ghost of a dead person or a person who's still alive and just separated from his body.
No, motherfucker, we're gonna figure it now. You moved my plush ghost. Okay, he has his spot, and you moved him.
I don't know. His consciousness might have moved it in an attempt to save it from his ass.
This is true.
You move around the ghost. The ghost does not move around you.
Well, you know what? Here, we'll go ahead. I'm done with the podcast, so I'm putting the ghost back.